All right, now listen up. I'm going to tell you something about summer camps. They ain't ever as wholesome as they look. You got counselors sneaking off, kids running wild, and somewhere out there in the dark, yeah, there's always something waiting. And maybe it's a story, maybe it's a legend, or maybe it's somebody who remembers exactly what happened the last time folks stopped paying attention. Point is, when the lights go out and the woods start talking, you don't go out looking for trouble. Trouble already knows where you are.
This is what we saw on Stolen Cable. My babysitter was obsessed with Friday the 13th. I'm your host, Uncle Patches, here with
Sinister Cinema.
And special guest, Brant Bumpers.
Hey, I'm supposed to say the special part.
Go for it.
And special guest.
Well, who's special
Brant
here?
Bumpers.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Now it's right in the world.
All right, so this is an all-time classic. We can't really call this one a cult classic.
You could, but I know that because it was too financially successful for it to kind of match the usual cult classic description.
Well, it definitely kicked off an iconic series.
It launched so much.
Oh yeah, not just
its own
the
franchise.
series. Yeah. It had kind of created the whole horror genre.
Yeah, it was the birth of the slasher genre in the way that we all know it.
Mm-hmm.
Paramount found they're like, we like this thing where you put in only $500,000 and we get back $50 million. Let's do that again.
Yeah.
And again.
This is a movie executive's dream.
Oh, absolutely. And very seldomly do you ever find that kind of nest egg where you can kind of just keep running with it and it keeps working and it gets bigger and bigger every time.
I got the budget here. It's $550,000 for the budget, and it made $59.8 million.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just crazy. That's literally planting a seed and growing a money tree.
Mm-hmm. It's like we've discussed before. You need to make at least around 3 times as much. This made way more than that. The numbers are off the charts.
You literally could have made 100 more Friday the 13th with what they want. It's astronomical. Like literally, if somebody gave me $1 and I turned it into $150, then that dollar was just
that's like a magic dollar.
Absolutely. And that's what this was. This budget went to a magic script.
Yeah.
That had a like Harry Makuzo Jr., Sean Cunningham, that was like, we know what to do with this to make it. And like at the time they were just trying to keep from falling on their face at the time, but they did a lot more than that.
Well, specifically, I was watching the documentaries on this one because I like to watch the film. And this one, I actually had the DVD with the DVD commentaries and the specials. And Sean Cunningham said that this movie is a direct ripoff of Halloween.
It is.
Oh,
yeah, it is
true.
Because Halloween came out in 1978 and the studio said, make us a Halloween. And Sean Cunningham, like his thing was making rip-off movies. He made a rip-off movie of Bad News Bears. He made a rip-off movies of some like adult theme, kind of like romance movies, but they're more like, just kind of like sex movies. He had a list of names for like different types of like title ideas. And then they said, hey, we want you to make another Halloween. And he knew what they meant. Make Halloween, but it's not Halloween. And he's like, well, what the hell am I going to do? And so he literally got his list of names, and one of them was supposed to be for a comedy. It was Friday the 13th. And it was supposed to be like, oh, it's the unluckiest day of the year. Like, oh, Bob's having an unlucky day. Wacky comedy ensues, Friday the 13th.
No.
But it got used for this instead of just being unlucky.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, well, now when we hear it, automatically, the first thing we think of is a slasher movie. We can never think of it as anything else. That's just the way things go. Just like Chainsaw Massacre ruined chainsaws for people. If you hand somebody a chainsaw, the first thing they do is, and start waving it around like they're crazy. I was like, yeah, it's a garden tool. But hey, you do you.
I mean, I do that every time.
I do too.
It's like when you pick up a pair of tongs, you have to click them.
Oh, you have to. You can't just not do it. You got to make sure the clack works. It's a way dads test their hearing. But okay, he was set on a bit of a fool's errand, and then he just used a title that he had lying around. In like the first ad for Friday the 13th was just the name Friday the 13th in white blocky letters coming out of the dark and then smashing through glass. That's it. They didn't know what the movie was going to be about. They had no idea. They were just trying to get funding. and that was it.
Well, that's how you set up a movie. You don't just give away the whole movie, you know?
Well, they didn't have a movie to give away even.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So
But
like,
still.
yeah, exactly. So it's like, wow, Halloween made all this money and they wanted that.
Yeah.
And man, they went to this director that's just known to make rip-off movies and were like, here,
Well,
do
this was the time for that type of movie too, though.
Exactly.
But this was a legit horror film. This was not just a slasher like the rest of the movies pretty much were. This one had an unseen evil. You don't know who the killer is for the most of the time. The killer appears to the people that are being murdered, and they clearly see who it is, but you can't see who it is until the end.
Yep. The 70s was full of like what they call framed killers, like where they're out of frame.
Mm-hmm.
All you see is a pair of hands, like maybe gloved hands.
Yeah. It might be like from first person type of view.
Exactly. Or like a close up of the person that can see the killer, and they're like, oh, I thought you were out of, and then all of a sudden they're getting strangled. But what was so different about this is that instead of just getting simply strangled or simply, a knife in the back as they turn around, it was straight up creative, gory murders. Like this person had a huge, huge vendetta and a great imagination on killing people. And that's what drew you in, because it was a whodunit in a way, but it was also, my God, these kills are amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Sean Cunningham, he said in this documentary that he used the formula that they had in Halloween, which was you have a tragic past with something horrible happen, and then you move into a group of horny teenagers separated from authority.
Yep.
And then you wind up killing them all off, and you have the one lone survivor. That was the whole formula for the film.
Absolutely.
And he did it better than Halloween.
He did.
Because the backstory for the killer on this is understandable and relatable.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see where the person got their motivation.
Michael Myers just kind of kills because he's, as even the movie puts it, he's just evil. He's just pure evil. There's no rhyme or reason for what he does. He just does it.
His doctor just decided that he's just, the diagnosis is just pure evil. Evil.
This is like a world-renowned psychiatrist.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, no,
evil. Just kill him.
He's just evil.
Evil. Just kill him. I decided when he was a kid that he's just pure evil. And I also like the way they try to explain it away, just real quick detour. It's like almost he looks to the camera and goes, oh my God, someone must have taught him how to drive. And I'm like, yeah, because like when you're pure evil, everybody kind of knows it, and they're like, now, Michael, there's no hopes of you ever getting out of here. So let's go ahead and get you all ready for the road.
Yeah.
That P is park. That R is reverse. And like, how do you teach Michael Myers how to drive? And I was like, okay. And like, they just quickly explain it away. Someone must have taught him how to drive. This doctor rocks. I wish more doctors came to the conclusion that you're pure evil and that you need to die and helping the cops kill you. But anyhow, back to what we were talking.
Spoiler alert, the killer is not Jason Voorhees. It's not Jason in this film.
Of course, there's never a justified reason for murdering a bunch of people.
But at least this one, you're kind of like, okay, you know what? I can see where she's coming from.
We did have the, what was that Keanu Reeves series that came out here recently?
Oh, the John Wick.
Yeah, the John Wick. That was a justifiable murder spree.
Very much so.
They did kill his dog.
They killed his dog, and they messed up his car.
Not only that, but like later on, you see the dog is right by him with this bloody trail. Like the dog got hit over there and then the dog was still alive and crawled his way over to him and died right next to him. And I'm like, okay, all right. I was like, whatever he does, I'm on board. Whatever he does. So like when he's digging up all those coins and guns, I'm like, let's do this.
The people he was after
they were bad people.
They were bad people.
But the dog. Let's see. Yeah, even that guy was on the phone like, you killed the Baba Yaga's dog. He's Baba Yaga because he kills the boogeyman. I was like, you named it the boogeyman. All right, no problem. That doesn't make any sense, but okay, let's go with it.
Betsy Palmer plays Mrs. Voorhees in this, and she does wind up to be the killer, and you don't really see her until the end of the film.
No.
But, she shows up on the screen and everything like that. But she's an actress from the 40s and the 50s.
Yes.
The most famous thing I remember seeing her in was Mr. Roberts, which is a film about a cargo ship during World War II in the Pacific.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad just absolutely loved that film.
Yep.
And she played a nurse at one of the ports. And that's pretty much it. She said that she was pretty much a day player doing game shows and stuff at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And they came at her with the script and said, hey, look, we're wanting somebody a little bit more established to do this particular part. Why don't you read it over? And she says, well, okay. They sent it over and she saw it was a horror flick. She was like, oh, I'm not going to do a horror flick. I've already been regulated down to doing game shows and stuff like that. But she read it and she was like, oh, this is just too ridiculous. Nobody's going to go see this thing. And, she agreed to it because they were giving her $10,000 a day for 10 days. Or not.
Oh, wow.
$1,000 a day for 10 days. So it was like $10,000 total.
Which in 1980s money.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
When you're a day player, yeah.
I don't know. I don't make $1,000 a day now, so I mean that's
exactly. No, but like that's exactly. Well, so you can imagine how it was during 1980, right?
Yeah.
Right when Reagan was about to take over and kill the unions. Not, but like it's that kind of thing where it's like, yeah, this is like good money. Like when you're a day player, you don't make that much money. You don't. So this is a good opportunity. And she was like, yeah, I'm going to be safe from too many eyes seeing this because this ain't going to. A lot of these movies would get made and never get released.
I was watching her at the reunion that they did in 2008, and she showed up to the reunion wearing her Mrs. Voorhees sweater from the film, or at least a simulation of it. So she was all in on it. So she eventually came around to it. She really got behind it. She's like, well, her son died, and, they were off having sex instead of watching them and stuff. And this is like her whole world.
Yeah.
The child was mentally handicapped. There would have been no break for her. She would have been watching over him all the way up through the rest of his life anyhow. Yeah. And that's something that she would have fallen into.
Yeah. Well, you have to think about the fact that she probably coddled him like big time. And she finally gets to a point where she's able to trust other people to watch him. And then what happens? They let him drown. So it just confirms like everything that she thought about other people. They weren't going to care for him the way that she did.
If this movie was made today, they would have to like squeeze in like a flashback sequence where she's in court and like she lost the court case. You know what I mean? That whole thing where they got to build it up a little bit more to where like it's more justified.
Well, she played it off really well too.
She did.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we had 2 killings right off the bat. So that's the tragic past that they had. There's no explanation until toward the end of the film on why the killings were going through. They show 2 kids getting killed for making out in the attic someplace right off. And then it patches up until like 20 years later. And then we run into Annie, who comes to town. Well, that's what got me about this one. She shows up at the diner and she goes, hey, I'm looking for Camp Crystal Lake. Does anybody know where this gets it? And you do that in the film nowadays, and everybody in town would look at you and scoffed and gave you a hard time. Oh, you get out of here, you scum.
Yeah.
But no, everybody was like quiet to begin with. Well, yeah, we know where that's at. So-and-so is going out that way anyhow. He can drop you off at the thing. Whereas you wouldn't get that. They would do the bad villagers.
Yeah. Where she's in a diner, she's asked one person, but everyone stops and like turns around and looks at her.
The music stops and everything.
Best to go back where you came from, Missy. You stay away from Crystal Lake. You understand me? And like that.
Which could have been the intent because Robbie Morgan, who played Annie on this, oh my God, she was absolutely adorable in this film.
She was.
Mm-hmm.
She was by far the better looking of all the girls that were in the film, in my personal opinion. She was also the first one to die from the modern era.
Yeah.
And I saw her in an interview. She was talking about that. She goes, that's what my husband says. She goes, my wife was the first one to die in the first Friday the 13th, just to build me up at parties and stuff like that.
Here's the funny thing. I actually met and hung out a couple of times with Ari Lehman, the guy that plays Jason Voorhees, the kid, when he comes out of the water at the end.
Yeah.
And
cool.
He has a band called First Jason, and he made this centaur that looks like it's kind of like duct taped together, but it's like a centaur with like a machete sticking out of the neck, and it's just kind of that's a story for another day.
Well, I saw some interviews with him, and he looks like a band roadie for like AC/DC or something like that.
Yeah, he looks like a cross between a Civil War reenactor, Buffalo Bill impersonator, and a roadie, Yeah,
he had the fingerless gloves and a mullet. I mean, it was...
Oh, yeah. And did he still have the mustache? Do you still have the mustache goatee thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Watched him get upset at a Best Western over having a bottle of absinthe open in the lobby, and they're like, "You can't have that," and like he just had a shit fit about it, and it was just kind of funny to watch.
Wow.
He's not a bad guy, don't get me wrong, but it's just he's just
It's one of those guys that kind of had a taste, a little taste of fame, but not enough to shake the crazy off.
Exactly. Matter of fact, when he came down here last time, and because I got his number, I called him up and make sure he's like made to the airport. And he's all, "Is this Brant Bumpers?" I said, "Yeah, this is Brant Bumpers." And then like what you call it? We picked up Michael Berryman because he was down there. We were supposed to pick up Michael Graves from he was the lead singer of the Misfits at the time, but he bailed. He didn't show up. So like we were wasting our time walking around looking for a guy that's not going to show up. And we just jumped, like the guy that held the event he rented out a limo. We just jumped in the little limo thing and rode off. Is the most like, all right, I'm here to pick up two celebrities and jump in this limo and jet. But it was like straight up, I'm still working AV. I can barely afford groceries. I wasn't living any high life. Someone else was footing the bill for that.
That's why we like having Brant on.
See how those great stories.
I'm just trying to avoid like turning it into that. Oh, so anyways, Michael Berryman and I, we went to Denny's and we had a dinner, that kind of like.
All right, so I got on my notes here. They got a scene where they find a snake in one of the cabins.
Mm-hmm.
They chase the snake down and they wind up killing the snake. Now, that wasn't planned. They got there and killed the snake, and the snake wrangler had no idea they were going to be doing that.
Oh my
and
God.
he was upset.
Oh, bad.
Was it supposed to be like in the story, they're supposed to kill a snake, and then they ended up killing a snake for real, and it was the snake handler's snake?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
That is terrible. That is.
Okay, and here's the thing. I could tell you by personal experience that people that are wranglers, especially for reptiles, love them, because I was in a short film called Snake Pit, and the snake wrangler, he would try to scare the snakes to make them move around and do stuff, but then he would be like very coddling towards them afterwards, like kind of almost apologizing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, would they have done the same thing with a puppy? No. That was this guy's puppy.
Yes, that's not just their bread and butter, that's their friend.
Yeah.
And it's like, I entrusted you with my friend and you killed him.
Wow.
No.
That is messed up.
For some reason, I don't know why I'm picturing this. I'm just picturing the cast and the crew getting into a van with a guy like still out there crying, holding this dead snake. And then you see the van door shut. Toon. All right, let's get out of here. with the guy still outside crying over his.
So the Rancor handler in Return of the Jedi.
Exactly.
Terrible.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
Exactly.
How did you guys originally see this film?
It had to have been on TV at some point. I don't even remember. More than likely it was on USA in the middle of the night at some point.
I originally saw part 3 first, and I saw it at my aunt's house because like her husband at the time liked horror films and he recorded it.
Yeah, I definitely saw the other sequels before this one. Yeah.
And so like when I got the book by Tom Savini, Grand Illusion, which is like a big book of his special effects legacy, it showed how he pulled off some of the effects in Friday the 13th. And so I was like, I've never seen that. I want to go back and watch it.
So I didn't know the Sex Machine wrote a book.
He did. Tom Savini, the Sex Machine, wrote a book, and it was hot.
What was it? What was the name of the movie? From Dusk Till Dawn. He played. He played Sex Machine.
Yeah, he played Sex Machine with the special gun. Bloop. Yep. Which found its way into the guitar cases in Desperado. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When I met him, he was like actually kind of like very drowsy looking. That poor guy. Then again, he's at that age where he doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
He's just who he is.
Yeah.
When I read that book, I was like, I'm going to go rent that movie now. I've never actually watched the movie. And I realized, I was like, okay, they're handling this like the other movies in the 70s, like the made-for-TV movies, especially where the killer is just like off out of frame, or like you don't see from the like elbows up, or you just see a pair of gloved hands. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, that kind of thing, but with really intricate kills, and that's where I was like, okay, I'm seeing where this where this got its idea now, especially with that iconic poster of the kids on the trail with that outline of somebody holding a knife.
Oh, yeah. That
is just brilliant.
Well, I can tell you where I saw this, and this is where we get the title of the episode. My babysitter was obsessed with Friday the 13th.
Okay.
So back when I was a kid, this is before we were old enough to do latchkey, which was a few years after this.
Oh, man.
So about 81, 82, they would have a babysitter that come in. It was two sisters. One was like super strict and kind of a pain in the ass. And the other one that came in, she was kind of cool. But the one that was kind of cool was really the one that we shouldn't have been watching us. Because she would rent movies. She would rent horror movies and bring them in and sit down with us and watch horror movies. And we're talking like 81, 82. I was like 7 years old watching Friday the 13th or Halloween or...
Yeah, a lot of us.
What was a Slumber Party or...
back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Slumber Party Massacre with that big drill guitar. Yeah.
So, I got to see a lot of these horror films way before anybody else in my age group got to see them. I think one time she went absolutely nuts and made lasagna for me and my brother and our family dog, and even set a table spot for the dog to have lasagna with us.
Okay, your babysitter was really cool. I want to know now. I want to know what your babysitter looked like, so I can picture in my mind and I could date her in my mind.
As I remember, she was very attractive. Yeah,
Jesus, she's attractive, loved horror, didn't know better than to show it to kids, and she made lasagna even for the dog.
Yep.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Okay. That's a wife born out of my time, like wife material out of my time. Great. It's just far away.
I tell that to anybody else and they're like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry that happened to you."
What? Oh, no, come on.
Here's the thing. Great. Maybe if she didn't do that, you wouldn't be who you were today.
True.
Yeah.
Totally true.
Absolutely.
A lot of us saw horror films at a young age.
Hey, we're all broken eggs.
Yeah.
Either you're going to be rotten or you're going to be a nice omelet. But go on, sir.
That's right. I remember seeing Poltergeist when I was really young, and that movie freaked me out. It really scared me.
Yeah, but the part that really got me was the guy tearing off his own face in the mirror.
Yes.
That got me. And now I look at it and it looks so fake. And also those are Steven Spielberg's hands doing that. And I was like, oh, well, that whole thing that completely haunted my dreams, it now looks like,
It was that scene and the scene in the pool in the rain when all the bodies just start floating up. It's like, whoa.
It was also a real nightmare for those actors too, because I'm sure that there's another podcast coming up, I'm sure. But those were actual corpses and they didn't know that at the time. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Real dead bodies.
I think I'd still have nightmares about that if I was on that set.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially like when you get out and it's like, oh, by the way, those were real dead bodies. That's like telling Indiana Jones those were real snakes. I was like, man, Steven Spielberg is not afraid to throw people into the pits of hell for his own success.
Yeah.
Those are real dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna have to talk about Steve, the owner of the camp.
Yep.
And his creepy porn stash.
Yes.
Making creepy moves on the young girls.
Absolutely.
So
it was the 80s, so people didn't see anything that much wrong with it.
Yeah. No, I was watching it. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, very like what they call nowadays the ick.
Yeah.
But back then it was just Thursday. Yeah.
I was watching it, and they were talking about the musical score on it, and they said that and I didn't notice this, but they only played music when the killer was present.
Mm-hmm.
So there would have been a musical cue there for some sort of a romance or anything like that. But since the killer wasn't present, they didn't play any music, so it just kind of went off. But I got a real creepy feeling from it because you didn't know how they wanted you to react. Usually you get the music cue. It's like, oh, well, this is wanted attention or this is unwanted attention. But no, you didn't get that. So you had to play off of what your own personal feeling on it would be. And I was like, creepy porn stash. He's got no shirt on and he's reaching up, touching her face. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, your eyes work.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. That's exactly what's happening.
Yep. And this is creepy Uncle Steve here.
Yeah, exactly. This is what every girl encounters when she goes to her high school, when she goes to the club. Yeah. Some guy somewhere going to pop out that you do not want your attention from. I'm going to touch your face. Just for no reason. You're right there, aren't you? I love the score, by the way, speaking of which. If it wasn't something as simple as drink, 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 it was the jinga, 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 jinga. And I was like, it's the most iconic, effective, like did a good job of putting Halloween to shame as far as having its theme songs. But the simplicity of the jinga, jinga, jinga. And I'm like, perfect. Got some bangers tonight.
We
That's right.
we
That's
talk
right.
about CGI and how it's kind of ruined the practical effects, and this is definitely a practical effects movie.
It's ruined movies.
Yeah. So I was, like I said, I was watching the special features, and Sean Cunningham came on there, and he was talking about this exact subject, and he was saying, well, back in the day when they had a lot of practical effects and stuff like that, it was the magic of the show,
Yeah.
and you know, it was trying to figure out how did they do that, where you don't get that with the CGI because you know exactly how it was done. It was all done in a computer, somebody sitting there drawing it out.
Exactly.
Not to downplay the programmers that put a lot of hard work into it, but you can't beat the practical effects, the actual physical thing there that they have to figure out how to do this. What do they do to, get the stabbing effect? Did they use a blood bag underneath a piece of canvas or what did they do,
Exactly. And like, there's times where they're like, okay, this right here, it started off, this person's at the top of the stairs. And by the time they get to the bottom, this happens. When did they do that? Because we're watching it in one continuous take. I was like, yeah, those are the best ones. Like when they're saying like, okay, let's see if we can do this with no cuts. It just looks like it just really happened. And they figure it out and they do it. It's like, okay, that's just genius. That's the kind of genius that we run out of when, it's like, okay, well, I mean, he started off as a real person, then he turned into a digital asset rolling down the stairs. All right. Well, there you go. That's a feat, right? It's like, yeah, it's very well done. You executed it real well, but I can kind of tell that's what you. But like when it's like, no, that's a real thing falling down the stairs. That's a real person. That looks real. When there's a difference between that looks real and that has to be fake. Because when you say that looks real, you're saying that's fake, but it looks real.
When you see the person in a fire suit literally set on fire in front of the camera, you're in just disbelief about the fact that that's actually somebody on fire. The CGI just takes away from all that. It's like, they can just draw that all in now.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. If you look at something and say that has to be fake, that means that you buy into it being real so much that you're trying to talk yourself into thinking of it as fake because you're like, there's no way that could be real. And that's when they got you. And that's when you're like,
that is movie magic.
That
right
is.
There.
Yeah, the special effects in this were top tier for such a low budget.
Very much.
Oh, yeah.
It was Tom Savini. Tom Savini was just coming off of Creepshow when he did this.
So let's take a look at the cast. I brought up Robbie Morgan because she was the hottest one of the bunch.
She was.
Betsy Palmer. And then pretty much nobody else in this film went on to be famous. Nobody at all. Nobody.
None.
Nobody.
Not a single person.
Not a single person.
No.
All right, so Kevin Bacon was in this one.
We were 1 degree off.
So, yeah, Kevin Bacon, this is one of his earlier films. I think this was coming off of, what was the one he did with John Belushi? That was Animal House.
Yes, Animal House.
So he had a bit part in Animal House, and then he had this film, and then he blew up and did a bunch of stuff.
Yep.
He did Tremors, which is, I've said this before, Tremors was one of my dad's favorite film franchises.
Whitewater Summer.
Oh, yeah.
He had a bit part in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles also.
That's right.
Another classic film right there.
Footloose. And
Footloose, yeah. He did a little movie called Footloose. Maybe you never heard of it.
Had a bit part in that one too.
Yeah.
He became so famous in the 80s that they had to bring it out in Guardians of the Galaxy from the one kid that got kidnapped from the 80s.
That's right. That's right.
Star-Lord.
Is Kevin Bacon? Yeah, Kevin Bacon still...
Is Footloose still the greatest movie ever made?
Yeah.
He goes, it never was.
Yeah. There we go. That was it.
That's great.
I remember Footloose when I went to go see that in the theater, and part of the reason why I did was because my sister dragged us to go see that movie. I liked the movie, but like it was that kind of thing where I was like, the movie is literally I'm so mad I can dance. Yeah, that's the movie. And then like if you don't dance in our town, you understand me? It's illegal to dance in our town. And then he's playing his music. He's playing Mental Health, The Quiet Riot, and then like in his Beetle, and then the cop like pulled him over like, give me that tape, boy. It's just that. I was like, this is so ridiculous, but it's so awesome.
Yeah.
He got so mad he danced for like 30 straight minutes in a construction site, but it was so cool.
Oh, it was so epic too. They had to spoof it in Hot Rod.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Which is funny. My brother was watching that film because I talked it up. I was like, you got to watch this film. It's absolutely hilarious. And he got to that scene and then He was like, I just had to turn it off. It was just too ridiculous. I was like, you had to wait like 3 minutes later when he started falling down the cliff and not stopping, because that was the funniest thing ever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, that's the funny thing about it. Is Hot Rod is one of those movies that, if you don't get that type of humor, you're just not gonna get it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna like the movie at all. But if you're tuned into that type of humor, it's one of the funniest movies ever made. So.
Absolutely.
Kevin Bacon, pretty much the biggest thing to come out of this film, other than the film itself. And this film was so popular that they literally had a film come out every year in the 80s.
Yeah,
they did
for this. And I got a box set, and it went all the way up until just before Jason X. And I think that's when a different studio picked it up. And so they didn't include it in with the Paramount box set. I got to still hunt that one up, and I apparently can't find it anywhere.
Kane Hodder, who's a really nice guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he became the quintessential Jason.
That is Jason.
Yeah, he became the quintessential Jason. He played Jason more than anybody, and his stance, the way he is, like he became...
The way that Jason walks and everything.
Yeah.
If you can picture that in your mind, if you've seen the movies, that's his walk. He's the one that made that walk famous.
Kane Hodder, that's just the way he actually is. Kane Hodder, first of all, he's got a very storied life, and he looks like someone who has... He's always wearing black gloves because his hands are so horribly burned. A lot of his body is horribly burned. It dictates the way he carries himself. He's in shape and everything. But like his stance, he stands where his arms are kind of curled out. And a lot of it's because it hurts to relax his shoulders because of the skin on his back doesn't stretch. When he stands, he just kind of like naturally stands with his feet far apart. That's the Jason stance. And like he's not trying to do it and like, hey, look at me, I'm Jason. That's just the way he is. So I think a lot of the times when he was the Jason that we come to know is just Kane Hodder trying to make himself comfortable standing, and it's like, oh no, that works. That works so much. Yeah. But anyways, this is before Jason. This is when some dame was running around.
Well, what got me about this was she was throwing bodies through windows.
Absolutely.
So that's where this other theory comes in.
Oh, really? Tell us.
The theory is that Jason never died. Obviously, from the sequels, it's apparent that he's still alive in some capacity. Anyway, the theory is that he was helping her the whole time during this movie.
And he just didn't appear?
And that's the reason why the final girl was actually able to overcome, and subdue her and end up killing her, because Jason wasn't there at the time to help her out.
See, I do know this much. The studio put Cunningham and Ray Makuza Jr., who was the producer, like he's like one of the Paramount's executives' sons was Ray Makuza Jr., and he became the repeated producer for Friday the 13th. After this movie came out, it went gangbusters at the box office. They were like, okay, we want another. And he's like, can't be another one. We literally killed the main.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't care. We want another one. It's like, what about that? What about that Jason kid? They're all, the Jason kid died. That's the whole reason. I'll figure something out.
The thing is about a lot of these movie theories, kind of how you kind of have to either ignore key points in the movie to be able to kind of buy into them.
No, you do.
It's like
suspension of disbelief is huge.
Yeah, it's like the Karate Kid, Daniel being the actual bully, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
That just depends on you ignoring key points of them that happen in the movie. Realistically, yeah, it was never the intent that Jason was there the whole time from when the movie was made.
For a grieving mother, she sure knew how to drive the life out of people. I mean, like, you got Kevin Bacon that's sitting in a hammock and then an arrow comes up through the back of his neck. Yeah. I'm like, yep, that's someone that hates somebody. They hate anybody.
Yeah.
Yep.
This one woman killing machine that's fueled by rage, powered by anger, driven by hate, and exhausted by men. No, but like, but that was her thing. Was like, okay, she's that mad. I can see that. She loved her son. And I was like, yeah. It was like a message to camp counselors everywhere.
Well, I mean, we had the kills on here. They had only a few kills that were on screen, and then they had a few kills that were off screen, and then she hid the bodies around. And then at the end of the film, we were throwing dead bodies through windows. You're going around the camp, and you're finding dead bodies all over the place. And this is the one of the first films I remember where they're actually doing a reveal of a body that you didn't know somebody had died already.
Yeah.
It never happened on screen. So that was kind of a shock. I don't think they did that in Halloween, right?
No, Friday the 13th, part of the formula was the last remaining character starts finding this orgy of evidence of everybody being dead. by just constantly running into them. And every time she turns around, there's another one, and then she takes a few steps, there's another one. Then she tries to go outside, and there's another one. That always happens. It seems to be that she wanders into the killing floor, the death zone, where everybody just kind of is.
She's like William Wallace at the beginning of Braveheart.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Walks into the room, and there's just bodies everywhere.
Yeah. Just absolutely, it's like a big dead party. Yeah. And it would be one of those things where she's like opens the door, and one of them just kind of like blank, from the ceiling, and like, oh my god. And then she tries to open the basement for some reason, and at the bottom of the stairs, another one that's like that kind of thing, where I'm like, okay, they're all right there. Perfect timing. By the time she sees everybody, and then she turns around to see the only way out, the killer's right there, like, yep, there you go.
And then everybody went slowly and individually by themselves.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden there's one person left, and they have no clue that everybody else, they suspect that, there's something wrong. Yeah. And then they're just there by themselves, and they have to get out, and they can't do it.
They realize what they're up against. They got to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have the final kill of the film, which is Mrs. Voorhees loses her head like Highlander style.
Straight up. Straight up.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the practical effects, how they did that. It was Tom Savini had this thing put on his shoulders that had like a fake head and arms. Like it was like some of his arms were in the sweater to look like the hands, but like they went into fake shoulders and head so that they could whack it off. And then like when the head goes flying off, the turtleneck helps hide the cutting line, So like it was like, okay.
That is cool.
Yeah.
It was by far better than the Highlander effects. Because in the Highlanders, you see the head fly off, but there wasn't the visceral gore, and the blood spurting from the arteries and stuff like that.
No, you got the Ark of the Covenant, of being opened. Yeah, the big light show. Yeah, there can be only one.
That explains why she wasn't able to come back to the sequels. Is because
she got credited and she got paid for the sequels because of her character made. Mother is talking to you, like as a flashback.
She comes back as a voice and as a severed head.
Yeah. And the severed head was so cool to me. I like that.
Oh, yeah.
And the disco intro in the third one.
The third one, that one was shot in 3D, right?
It was, straight up.
Yes. I've got the Blu-ray of that.
Yeah. Dude, that was the best 3D, because it was like a special 3D where...
It was good 3D.
Where it's like literally on a silver screen, and then like you had these glasses that weren't like the red and blue, they were something else. Best 3D I've ever seen. I'm at the Alamo Draft House. I'm sitting in the audience. The lettering, because you know how Friday the 13th, part 3. Yeah. It literally looked like it was going out over the audience and to you.
Yeah.
People in the audience gasped. I gasped. And I remember people were reaching over, we know we're not going to touch it, but we just want to see what it looks like when we try.
Yeah.
It looked like it came out, went across the audience, and stopped at your head.
Yeah.
It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen, and the only reason why that technology didn't continue was because it was so problematic and so expensive, and movie houses would have to literally put those screens in and dedicate one theater to that particular type of screen.
Yeah, it doesn't look that great on the Blu-ray.
I imagine it wouldn't. I imagine it's not going to be the same type of 3D, but my God, if I ever hear anything about any type of hey, Friday the 13th in 3D, but it's the original 3, I'm going to be sanctuary, yelling at everyone, get over here, we're going to watch this right now, because you have to experience it.
And this is several decades before digital 3D and the real 3D.
Absolutely.
Which are really good. When a movie is shot from the ground up in 3D, it's awesome.
We only saw one film that was shot in actual 3D, and that was Dredd, right?
Dredd.
Which was amazing.
We talked about that before. It was made to be seen in the theater. If you missed it in the theater, you missed out big time. You did. I'm not going to put it any other way. You missed out. If you didn't see that in the theater, you missed out.
All right. So we got this film. I say it's not a cult classic because it made such a huge bank, but we're looking at, it does have a huge cult following now because it's
the beginning of the series.
Yes.
It became a pop cultural zeitgeist. Hockey masks became so sought after that sporting goods stores couldn't keep them in stock. And then they quit selling them, and then the hockey leagues just changed the design altogether to be a face cage.
Oh, yeah.
To get away from that imagery. This will be a future podcast, I'm sure, about why the hockey mask and how that became. But it's that kind of thing where literally this franchise ruined the hockey mask.
Yeah.
So the campground is still out there. So it's Camp Nobi So Nobo Nobibo So Sco. Nobisco?
So-
Are you okay, Patrick?
No,
Yeah.
I'm having a
No,
stroke here.
Yeah, exactly.
Camp Nobi Bo-Sco
You
in
beat-
Hardwick,
are you
New Jersey.
beatboxing over
I
there?
thought that was I thought that was actually an eye chart when I first read it.
And it's a real working Boy Scout camp. But I do know that once a year or so they do
A screening.
Yeah, they should do a screening. out there.
a Friday the 13th walkthrough
Oh, nice.
Oh, my
where you
God.
go
There
through
you
and
go.
they talk about the different
We
movies
gotta
and
do
stuff
that
like
one of
that.
these.
Oh, that's
one of these
awesome.
days. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Figure I'd throw that in there.
If
It'd
we
be a
ever
little-
do video, we got to do an on location.
Oh, dude. Okay, like so, you really think about it. Sean Cunningham was handed like, here, we want another Halloween, and so that could have been Killer in the City, Killer in the residential area, like like Halloween was.
Mhm.
He decided to do it at a camp, and he had no idea that he was going to turn it into like a franchise that actually exceeded by a large margin Michael Myers.
Yeah.
No one had any idea, and like it was just that thing where it's like they just kept wanting more. They kept wanting more. Like the final chapter was supposed to be the final chapter. Like that's why it's called the final chapter. Like we're going to kill him. We're done. We're not making any more of these. And that alone, because of the fact that it was supposed to be the last one, people rushed to see it.
I think the only one that was meant to have a sequel was the second and third one, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, they're seeing the formula. We put in a little bit of money, we get it back a lot of money. We keep putting a little bit. It sells itself. People love it. They can't get enough of it. But then they were going to kill off the fourth one, and then it did so much money. They're like, ugh, can you bring him back? You're like, oh, we just killed him. Like, figure something out.
This one had the best plot.
Yes.
Yeah, it did.
This one, the story on this one was solid.
Yes.
Yeah.
You understood the motivation. It was shot well
It was.
for such a small budget. The editing on it was perfect because the movie flows really good.
It does.
Yeah.
And I watch films nowadays, and you're like, well, you got all the budget in the world, you got all the special effects, you got all the actors, and you don't know how to edit it together.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Absolutely.
And this film had none of that, and it's a solid film.
Yeah. If you know anything about the Friday the 13th series, it actually became kind of a joke. How are they going to bring it back this time?
Oh yeah.
And it got more and more ridiculous like each time. Yeah.
And they started leaning into the ridiculous.
Yeah.
Jason in space.
Oh yeah. Well, Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. That was him coming back.
Yeah.
And that's the one Tom McLaughlin did. He straight up had Jason do the James Bond where he walks into the middle of the frame, then he turns around and he throws the and then the blood. I was like, all right, I love you for that because you're straight up saying, look, let's just have fun. It's silly. Let's just have fun. And they did. And I was like, all right, I like this.
All right, another thing on this one, I've got a big problem with the gratuitous sex scenes in films that don't really seem to feel like they belong in there.
Like they're just kind of
like the
shoehorned in
Terminator one, it was kind of, they could have just implied that they got together, but no, they had this big, long, drawn out sex scene.
With the slow pan and
it's like when the saxophone comes in.
They had the same
Yeah.
ridiculous thing in the Highlander film, which is one of my favorite films of all time. The sex scene in this film was actually very well placed,
Yeah.
and it was tasteful, and they didn't have the gratuitous breast shot that you normally would get in this type of film.
Yeah, especially in the 80s.
Yeah, we only got one breast in this film, and it was enough.
Yeah. They didn't rely on that to make the movie what it was.
Yeah.
Which is great because it's coming from a director that, once again, his career at that point was making knockoffs of other movies. That was his thing. Again, he was called the knockoff guy. Let's get him to make a knockoff Halloween. That was it. That's what this was. That's what was originally was supposed to be.
We led into the sex scene, and then they panned away, and there was something else going on, somebody else getting killed, and then they came back to it, and they were done, and they were spooning and stuff like that, and having a nice little conversation, which is appropriate. I mean, that's all you really need in any kind of film like that. You don't need to really.
Yeah, you don't need to see her, reverse cowgirl and yelling. The Friday the 13th franchise is famous for teens wanting to go off and get some nookie, and then Jason comes out and kills them before they can score. And I was like, he literally kills kids before they could score, and that's why he wears a goalie mask. I was like, that's just too perfect. Yeah. I was like, that's okay. I was like, I don't know if that was ever meant to happen, but I'm thinking about that, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't unfix that now.
That's funny.
All right. On that note, maybe we should move off into our PSA.
Let's do it.
I don't know. What do you guys think? What should we do for a
If
PSA?
you're ever left in the care of a special needs child,
Yes.
no, okay. All
Yeah,
right. Let's be serious.
Yeah, kids. If you're a counselor, kids are in your care, and
Make sure that you're actually watching them.
Yes, make sure you're actually doing your job, because the kids rely on you for their safety and their guidance, and so are the parents.
Mm-hmm.
And there's consequences if that was to ever be breached.
Yes. Well, we had a guy at Sears when we worked out there. He used to do lifeguard work over at one of the water parks, right?
Yes.
And I was talking to him one day. I said, well, why don't you do that anymore? He goes, well, I was out there and I was all suntanned up and everything like that. And I'd been working out and I was just kind of showing off for the girls and stuff like that. And we had a girl come off one of her tubes and get caught in some of the underground stuff on the thing. I wasn't paying attention. Her mom started screaming. And then when I realized what was going on, I had to go and get her unhooked from under the water and then do CPR on her. And I couldn't go back after that because I wasn't there for the right purpose.
Yeah.
He messed up and he owned up to it, and it's commendable that he says, I don't think I have the emotional maturity to do this.
That's it's not good what happened, but it's good that he owned up to it. And and if you're doing a job, do it well.
Absolutely.
Especially if your job involves the safety of other people.
Absolutely, because you can't go back and bring somebody back if they're gone. Mm-hmm. And especially if you knew that you could have prevented it and it was your negligence that led to it. You'll never let yourself, if you're a good person, you'll never let yourself off the hook for it. It'll follow you forever.
All right, everybody. This has been What We Saw on Stolen Cable. My babysitter was obsessed with Friday the 13th. I'm your host, Uncle Patches.
I'm Sinister Cinema.
And our special guest this week,
Brant Bumpers, and I'll be looking for that babysitter, even if she's an old craggly lady by now.
She was only a few years older. I think she was about 16 when I was 7, so...
Okay, then I sound like I got myself some long nights of cyber stuff.
Searching Instagram to see if she's on there or something.
Start looking in Bryan College Station.
Okay, thank you for giving me a start. See, that's what friends do.
Maybe she still lives out there. Who knows?
This is healthy. This is healthy and good for me.
As long as you're looking for her now.
Let's do it.
All right, y'all have a good night. Thank you very much for listening in.
Thank you.